Hi everyone, I'm Russ,
Mark,
and this is a spirited endeavor.
priming the pump edition.
That's right, and we have another Dewars.
I know, right?
So Dewars has been doing these really interesting finishes. We've gone through, I think, all the others at this point. Well, all but one other. But this is perhaps the one we've been looking forward to the most.
Yeah, well, we've kind of got a little bit of a love for Japanese whiskeys, and especially Mizunara casks.
Yes.
And the Mizunara casks, it's a unique oak, native to Japan, and it's very hard to work with.
Yes.
And the oak trees that they use for the barrels got to be 200 years old. And man, they really bring some unique characteristics to their whiskeys that are beyond the vanilla, beyond the caramel. There's a really interesting woody notes and everything that they bring in it that's very, very unique. And I'm sure, and hopefully we'll get some of those flavors today and kind of explain them as we're tasting them.
Yeah, that's my hopes. I'm hoping that the flavor from the barrels or casks are very present in this one. We'll be very curious.
Absolutely.
But while we're talking about it, let's get into this.
Yes, for sure.
So this is 40% ABV, and the interesting thing about Mizunara is, as Mark said, the lack of availability, the difficulty does tend to make whiskeys that are aged in it rather pricey. So it's nice when you find something like this that's making it accessible.
Now we've run into like Broken Barrel. Now they used broken staves of Mizunara.
Yep.
In their whiskey, and that is one of the coolest expressions from that distillery.
Yeah, I agree. Now the interesting thing about the Broken Barrel staves, and we've mentioned this in some of our reviews previously, is that because they're broken staves, you get all surfaces of the wood instead of just the inner surface of the barrel. So as a result, you get some really strong wood notes.
Yeah, and so this one is like a 40% ABV. So it's not, it's a Dewars. It's a blended whiskey.
Yep. So not expecting to get my socks knocked off by ABV or anything of that nature. I think it's going to be pretty subtle. That said, decent legs on it.
Yeah, it's a little thin in the glass, but decent legs. Yeah, it looks like it has some oils in there.
Yeah.
The color on that is really nice. I don't know if that's color added or what, but it's a good looking whiskey. Oh, okay. So immediately on the nose, I'm getting vanilla, I'm getting caramel, I'm getting toffee. There's a little floral aspect to that too.
A little bit.
That I actually really dig that.
Yeah, it's right around the edges. Yeah, it's still subtle, as you would expect from a Dewars, but there's definitely a little bit more going on the nose than what you get from like a typical Dewars.
Yeah, and what I'm getting on this is a little malty note, and I'm getting a little oaky note on that.
Agreed. Yeah.
So a little bit of like sawdust.
Yeah.
Like an oak sawdust. That's And now I'm getting more of that perfumey note. Certainly, as I swirled it around the glass here, I'm getting a little perfumey note.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit more going on with this one than what you get out of a typical, just a straight up Dewars.
Yeah. Now the other Dewars that we've had, they've been kind of flat on the nose. This one is a little punchy, and I like it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
And again, it's kind of thin on the palate.
It is.
So now there's like flavor spikes in it. So initially on the nose, initially on the tongue, I didn't get much, and then I got a little punch of flavor. It was a little spicy. It was a little vanilla, a little caramel, and then it kind of went away, it faded, and then on the back end, it kind of came back around with kind of a nice spiciness to it.
Agreed. This is. Initially on the palate, this is just straight up Dewars. As Mark said, I think thin is a really good description for it, both as far as texture is concerned as well as for flavors initially. And then that spice starts rolling in, and it seems like the spice brings all the other flavors with it, because it's like a wave just washes over you, and you get all sorts of, like Mark said, just nice sweetness, caramel, vanilla, and then that oak, which just presents so uniquely with this one.
Right, and the oak is also unique, and it's got to be the Mizunara influence on that, because again, I'm getting that kind of sawdusty note
Yeah.
with this too, but there's something mixed in it, like a little furniture polish, or like a little lemon citrus, little lemon zest or something in there.
Now going back to the nose, definitely getting more than I was before.
Yeah, and I'm getting more of that perfumey note.
Yeah, wow.
Little perfumey, little malty, and that's not typical Dewars.
Yeah, again, early palate, really don't get a whole lot there. A little bit of vanilla, but it is thin. And then everything just kind of happens in the back end. Now, as I get further into this, the impact of the spice is lessening somewhat as I've acclimated to it. And some of that excitement that the initial sip or two brought with it kind of fades away a little bit.
Yeah, it becomes a little flatter, on the subsequent sips. But what I'm getting on that now is, I'm still getting a strong oaky note on there, but it's like old furniture. It's like something that's been around for a long time, and then you've cut it up, so you're getting some of that sawdust note on it, maybe a little something a little I don't know, almost tannic in there.
It's funny you say that. I'm just noticing that myself. Taking a little bit of a breath, letting the oxygen get in there.
Yeah.
Still vanilla is predominant at that point, but then I started getting those tannins. Not especially strong, not off-putting for me, but definitely present, and more so than I would expect out of a Dewars generally.
You know what it is, or at least for me, cantaloupe.
Oh, that's interesting.
Cantaloupe.
Yeah, I could certainly see that.
You gotta get that little musty note in like a cantaloupe.
Yeah. Interesting. More going on in the bottle for this one than what I've seen in some of the others. Personally, I would take this over the regular Dewars like white label.
Sure, absolutely, any day.
Interesting.
That's not bad.
It really isn't.
That's not bad at all.
That first wave of oak is really what made it for me. I wish that carried through a little bit more to maintain that same kind of punch. But regardless, I do enjoy what the wood brought to this one, the finish.
Yeah, to me, it's still not a strong whiskey, but it's one that I would not shy away from at all.
Oh yeah, no, I'll kill this bottle. That'll happen.
Yeah.
That will not be a problem. I can't say that for all the blends that we've tried, or for that matter, all the whiskeys we've tried. There are some that will end up blended or something like that. This one, however, I will gladly consume.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think it's a solid whiskey.
I think so. I was pleasantly surprised by this one.
Yeah, you're not going to be. I mean, it's got some interesting things that it's bringing to the table. It's not overly challenging. It's not anything that's going to blow your socks off with spice or any strong flavors. They're pretty rounded.
Agreed.
But it's nice.
Yeah, if you're into blends or maybe some Highlands on the 40% ABV range, this is probably right in your wheelhouse. Might expose you to some different, some oaks notes that perhaps you haven't seen before, because the Mizunara does bring something different. And I will say this one is a bit different.
Yeah, I think that cantaloupe note was the most surprising to me. It took me a moment to figure that one out.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was kind of searching for that myself, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I was almost pineapple, but not quite.
Yeah, not quite there.
Yeah. All right, so 1 to 5, what do you think?
I'm going to go 3 for this one.
Yeah, I'm going to do 2.75.
Yeah, now, again, I'm not putting this up against, high-end single malt or anything like this. Just looking at other blends, I think that's where it fits. It's one of the better blends that we've had, in my opinion. Yeah, wow, I'm really pleasantly surprised by that.
This may be my favorite of their expressions so far.
I would have to agree. Yeah, the rum cask was pretty tasty.
Yes.
The other ones were kind of hit or miss for us, but this one I would definitely put up at the top of the list thus far.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone.
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
Hope you had a good time.
All right, we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.